Then they kept walking. Then they saw this dog on the floor. And it was dead. It's been dead for a while. It had a really foul, nasty stench coming out of it. Bad smell. The Prophet ﷺ pointed to this rotting dog. He said, would you guys eat that? And they got shocked. They're like, yeah, Rasulullah, is that halal for us? We're going to eat that rotting dog? The Prophet ﷺ said, Wallahi, what you said about your friend is worse than eating that. What you said about him, behind his back, while he's dead, that's worse than eating that dog. And he said, Wallahi, that man made a tawbah, which is repentance. He wanted to be cleaned of his sin. That's why he came and said, I did this, and that's because he wanted to be clean. He made a repentance that if it was sent on all of Ahl al-Medina, the whole people of Medina, it would have been enough for them. And now he's swimming in the rivers of Jannah. That's what's happening to him right now. The guy who you said if he only shut up, he wouldn't have been this and that, stoned like a dog. Now he's swimming in the rivers of Jannah. Umar was so firm in his practice of Islam that he could sense what was right and wrong. One time, Umar said, if a mule stumbles near the Euphrates River, I'm afraid that Allah is going to ask me how come I didn't pave the road for it. You guys, I want you to think how it is to be a leader. Would you ever imagine yourself in a leader position? Imagine just take something small. We won't even go to like towns like the mayor. Let's just take your household. Imagine if you were in your dad's position. You had your own wife, your own kids, your own house, paying the bills, making the money and the income. What do you call fairness now? Give me examples. What's fair? Tell me. What would be something fair? I'll give you an example to get you started. You have two boys, let's say. Don't buy one a really nice gift and get the other one a crappy one. Or the other one nothing. Why? The other one's going to feel jealous. That's not being fair. Give me another example. Come on. Easy, guys. You can think of so many. Not hitting your wife. Not swearing at her. Giving your family money when they need it for something. Because it's sad. And I see these examples. Remember that trip we went on? The MSA, the Muslim, when we went to the hotel in Rosemont? It was just like a nice trip where it was a bunch of durus and all different shaykhs coming in one weekend. And it was for Muslim youth, like you guys. One of the shabab specifically, he couldn't go. His father just wouldn't let him go. And I can understand the father doesn't let him go out, chill with his friends, okay. And he's strict on him, he doesn't want him to go out here. But this is a Muslim convention with all his Muslim friends and me as a supervisor and another guy older than me who were supervising, and his father didn't let him go. Now either, I'm thinking, either the father doesn't want to let him go for some not valid reason, or they don't have like the 80, 90, 100 bucks which costs, that's how much it costs to go that weekend. It turns out it was a money issue. Now I happen to know that this guy specifically owns a nice, big, not mansion, but you know, one of these large houses, larger than these houses. He has a business in Amman that generates so much money. I'm sure whatever he pays for is the taxes on the mortgage he pays for, like all the little things if you want to see that he pays for, I'm sure he pays thousands in it when he needs to. But when his son wants to go to a Muslim convention with his friends, he can't shell out 90 bucks. Wouldn't you call this unfair? Your son wants to do something and needs something, then you give it to him. You give him the money to buy it. A lot of guys are stingy like this. I know one guy, he could never come out to chill with us or do anything because his dad never ever gave him money after him. He's like, I don't have money for gas. And he didn't have a job. He was just turning like 16 or 17. He was trying to get a job. He couldn't ever get money from his dad. His dad just wouldn't give him money. And he's a good kid, mashallah. Maybe in the house, if he's bad, I doubt it. So this is one of the best kids I know. So that's being just, guys. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Why am I telling you guys this? Because you're going to be fathers one day, inshallah, and husbands. You have to remember this stuff. You can't be stingy when your kid needs something. If your daughter's got like 15 pairs of shoes and she wants another one, yeah, don't buy her. Don't spoil her. That's different. But one time, Hind came up to the Prophet ﷺ She says, Ya Rasulullah, Abu Sufyan is a cheap man. He's very stingy. So is it okay if I take his money without him knowing and I spend it on his kids bil ma'roof in the right way? Sit up, sit up. The Prophet ﷺ said, if you spend it on them in the right way, no, there's no sin on you. You can take your husband's money without him knowing and spend it on your kids, but it's like stuff they need, paying for their school tuition, paying for their clothes and food if they need some. That's okay, even if your husband isn't like giving out. That's okay for a wife. Why am I telling you that, guys? Because that's justice as far as your father's. I want to ask you guys a question now. Don't raise your hand, don't say yes, just answer it in your head. How many of your dads are just? When I say just, I mean fair. And you know your dads well. How many of your dads give money when they need it, treat all you guys equally as kids, you and your brothers and sisters? And when I say be just, he spends time with you, cares about you. When I say be just, he's not making haram money outside and then feeding you with it. When I say be just, I mean he's not being cheap on stuff that you or your brother or sister needs, but he'll spend money on something stupid else, that's something that he doesn't even need, or you know he is. How many of your dads are fair or not? Think about it. So you have to be fair in your life, because Allah's going to question about this. If you think it's something simple like, okay, I bought my son one gift, and I didn't buy him the other, and he got mad because of it, you think Allah's going to let it go? Just remember Allah says in the Quran, وَإِنْ كَانَ مِثْقَالَ حَبَّةٍ مِّنْ خَرْدَلٍ أَتَيْنَا بِهَا. If it's as big as a mustard seed, you guys know how big a mustard seed is? It's like this big. Why is Allah saying that? Allah's saying, if you did anything wrong and unjust, this small, Allah's saying, we're going to bring it out. Even if it's hiding, we're going to bring it out. But Umar wasn't a father or a husband, just that. He was the leader of the whole Muslim nation. So he said, even if an animal stumbles and breaks its foot, a mule, Umar says, I'm afraid Allah's going to ask me how come it broke its foot. Why didn't you take care of it? That's what being a leader means. You care about everybody you're in charge of. That's why most people, they don't want to be a leader. That's why the Prophet ﷺ says, if there's ever a position of leadership, don't ask for it. Don't say, yeah, make me the leader. You're not supposed to, because it's a big responsibility. But, if there's no guy better to do the job, then you can do it. One guy from Utbah, from Azerbaijan, a dish was brought to him. And he liked it so much. This is one of the more luxurious dishes, like say filet mignon in our time, right? He brought it to Umar ibn Khattab. So when Umar got the dish, he tasted it, and he said to the men and his governor, can everybody afford to have this in their homes in Azerbaijan, where you're from? They said no, it's only for the elite, like the VIPs. Umar said, then take it back. And he wrote the governor a letter. He said, it's not by the efforts of your father and mother that you're living this life. Make sure that people are eating the same kind of food that you have in your own home. Which means you're eating filet mignon, everybody should eat filet mignon. You're eating the best food, everybody should eat like you. Don't treat people unfairly, treat them all equally. You guys want me to tell you about something even crazier than that, subhanAllah? There was a famine for the Muslimin. There was a time, it was like a year and something, where they couldn't have meat. Meat was getting hard to attain. You know what Umar ibn Khattab did? Because only group of people who were living away didn't have meat, he stopped eating meat too. He did it to the point where his stomach was growling and it was like rumbling. You know what he told his stomach? Shut up. You're not going to eat until they eat meat. He told his stomach, you're not going to get full until the other Muslims eat first. That's the same story. And I told you guys a story last week, right? Umar and the woman. You guys. So I'm going to end it with this story. Oh, where did I put it? Right here. That's here to Surah 2, so that's all I want to tell you. Let me tell you, you guys all heard Surah Yusuf before, right? Let me tell you about this one part though, in detail. When Yusuf alayhi salam became the Aziz, who was like the governor of Egypt, and his brothers came back, his brothers didn't recognize him. You remember that? Because he was older. Now what happened was, they came, why did they come there? Here, I'll show you really quick. Just like put it in your heads where they're coming from. Easier for you to picture it.